Growing up as a kid, you think everyone is your friend. The cafeteria lunch ladies who have more hair on their arms than Wolverine.
In the film.
Oh, God.
Just like
The mailman who somehow resembles you more than your father. The homeless guy at the local park who watches kids from a distance but never approaches them.
Look, some people need to be gone, bro. And he one of them.
Everyone is your friend. As you get older, generally, the amount of people you consider as your friend starts to shrink. You go from having the whole human population as your friend as a kid, to by the time you graduate high school, you only consider a few people as an actual friend. But one thing I've noticed about Gen Z specifically, especially with the staggering rise of loneliness in this generation, is that a lot of the friendships that they do have shouldn't even be considered an actual friendship. There's a lack of genuine connection with people for Gen Z. But what defines someone as a friend? Someone that you have hung out with and talked to with since childhood? A person that you feel comfortable sharing your deepest secrets with? Someone you interact with every day? And another thing you have to take account for nowadays is that a lot of friendships are made online now. Do you consider those interactions as a friendship? What I'm trying to get at is that Gen Z doesn't know what an actual friendship is. And what I deem as a friendship doesn't necessarily mean what someone else will see as a friendship. I don't think there's a standard definition on what a friend is. But what I do think is that a lot of the friendships that people have are extremely superficial. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now, growing up in the 2000s and early 2010s, the way you made friends was fundamentally different than today. I will say that up until the age of 18, most of the people you will befriend are going to be people from school, your classmates. But even then, I was someone, and I know a lot of people who are closer to people online than were to people we sat with at lunch every day. And I'm not going to pretend like online friends is a new phenomenon. Shoot, back in 2016, my Minecraft era, I was Skyping people who were playing Minecraft with me. But here's the thing, I was only talking to them when I played Minecraft. I wasn't randomly Skyping them when I got an A on my history test or I beat Pokemon Emerald. There wasn't any genuine connection. This is something Gen Z lacks in even IRL friendships. Maybe it's just a man thing, but the people I consider as friends in high school weren't really my friends. When the pandemic first hit all the way back in 2020, senior year of high school, crazy that 2020 was 5 years ago, cue the music. Most people I saw and talked to on a daily basis, the last time I spoke to a majority of them to this day was the last day of school before they were shut down because of the pandemic, March 13th, 2020. 90% of people I consider as friends or acquaintances I have never seen or talked to with since that day. Do you want to know why? Because they weren't actually my friends. The only reason why I befriended them was because we were in close proximity. But once some distance appeared between us, we were strangers. What I'm trying to get at is that even the people you might consider as your friends aren't that close to you most likely. Maybe that's just a projection of me. I'm pretty sure there's people you consider as friends that if you were to never to approach them with a conversation, online or in real life, you would never talk to them again. If you were never to text them first, they would never text you at all. There was no genuine connection. This is also very prevalent when it comes to befriending people at work. I used to be very close to people I worked with. I actually used to get excited going to work. When I was younger, I looked forward to it. Maybe I'm just coping. I think getting access to money for the first time in my entire life is clouding my memories, but I thought I had some genuine connections to people with people at work. Unfortunately, every time I quit a job I was close to people with, I never talked to them again. What I realized is that we were all trying to distract each other from working. That's why we consider each other as friends. Us Gen Zers do not have a strong work ethic. Most of the conversation we had at work were beyond pointless. It was like a bunch of NPCs having a conversation about why the sun is so bright, why the sky is so blue. There was no meaning to it. I realized as I got older is that I don't regret any of that. I don't regret having those pointless conversations. I don't regret discussing dumb hypotheticals instead of doing my job. I've come to realize that it's okay to have superficial friendships with people. That the only reason we talk to each other wasn't because we're interested in each other, but because we're the only people we could talk to. I want to discuss online friendships. Should online friendships be considered and seen as actual friendships? I don't know. If you don't talk to people in the real world but online, is that healthy? Do these friendships have any value or meaning to you? Now, this is where I see a lot of friendships between Gen Z bloom, especially Gen Z men. The problem I have with a lot of online friendships is a lack of genuine connection between them, which I guess isn't all too different from friendships in real life nowadays. Like I mentioned earlier, Gen Z is going through a loneliness epidemic. You can have all these friends, but feel like you're going through life by yourself, because all the people you consider as friends aren't really your friends. When it comes to men specifically, we have problems expressing our emotions. Unless it's like anger, men have no problems expressing that emotion. When you're friends with someone, you shouldn't be scared to express your emotions, but men have a big problem with this in general, all ages. Personally, at least for me, when it comes to friendships, it's because I don't want to be a burden to anyone, emotionally or monetarily. I don't even like to ask my parents for money, even if I really needed it. Men struggle with this because they feel like if they open up to their friends, they will be judged in a negative light, that you'll be known as a drag, the person who just complains and is perpetually sad. This is more apparent online because most of the time you don't see the actual person. You don't get the full scope on what someone might be going through. For example, in my Discord I have with my online friends, I've known them for 7 years, throughout high school and college before I dropped out. I have been friends with them longer than any IRL friendships. I am closer to them than any IRL friendships I've ever had. Here's the thing, there is still a lack of genuine connection. Over the years, I would go months, even sometimes pushing a year, without interacting with anyone on there, not chatting or hopping in a call. Not necessarily because I didn't want to interact with them, but because I didn't really care to interact with them. These were people who lived across the nation from me. The 7 years I've known them, I've never met them in real life. Not a single one. I don't have a genuine connection with them, and that's okay, because I enjoy spending time with them, even if it's all online, and in 10 years, we will forget about each other. What I am trying to get at with this video is that Gen Z is struggling having a genuine connection with people, making actual friends, however you want to define that. But just because the people you consider as your friends aren't most likely actually really your friends, doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. If you're actually having a good time with these people and gathering happy moments, it doesn't really matter if you have a genuine connection with these people at all. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to make those connections. If you want a genuine friendship with someone, online or IRL, you have to make that effort. If that is something you feel like you're missing in your life, you have the power to change that. That is all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and adios.